Hey, what's going on guys? SuchSpeed here. So my friends over at LabyMod hooked me up again with a brand new giveaway. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving away 3 LabyMod capes, 3 random cosmetics, 4 random emotes, and 1 LabyMod plus rank for 6 months. All you guys have to do to enter is like this video right now, comment your IGN down below, you must be subscribed, you must follow my Twitter at SuchSpeed, you must follow LabyMod's Twitter, and if you haven't already, you must join my Discord server. Good luck to everyone entering into this huge giveaway. This may be one of the biggest giveaways I've ran on this channel, so a huge shout out to LabyMod. But aside from that, let's jump into the most controversial video I've ever made. I just want to add a little disclaimer at the start of this video that this video is in no way intended hate towards the Badlion client. In fact, this video is mainly just improvements of what I would personally make to the client and a couple of problems I've found with the client, so in no way is this hate. In fact, I used to be a partner on the Badlion client, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, so I imagine my opinion is probably quite neutral compared to a few of other creators. Having said that though, we're going to be talking about the issues or the problem with the Badlion client itself as a network, as a brand, as the largest client to the community. Now, I just want to say, I love making these opinionated videos, but obviously keep in mind, this is my own opinion, which I'm sure you guys have your own different opinions as well. So keep that in mind when watching this video. And honestly, I'd love for as many of you guys to comment your own opinions down below in the comment section, just so we can spark up some serious debates, because I love reading your comments. No cap. So what I've decided to do to this video is split it up into 2 parts. So the first part is going to be talking about the problem with the Badlion client if you were a creator for the client. So the issues you're going to find if you work for Badlion, if you're a creator, if you've got anything in their store, anything like that, the issues you may find. And the other side of this video is going to be directed towards you guys who just love using the Badlion client. However, you don't know about the problems with the client. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. You want to know, then that area is for you. And I've also went ahead and included timestamps in the description so you guys can specifically go to whatever area you'd prefer to go to watch at the start. But anyway, let's jump into what is possibly the biggest Badlion client video reveal that I've ever made on this channel. Probably one of the most controversial videos I've ever made. So to start things off, we're going to be talking about the problems with the Badlion client if you're a creator or a partner working there. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but there is a lot of other stories on Twitter from creators about the Badlion client, so keep in mind there is a lot of other stories out there that you guys can follow. But to start things off, one of my main issues with the Badlion client when I was a creator there was the fact that if you're a creator with the Badlion client, you're not technically allowed to use any other clients at all. Now, I'm not sure if that just limits to playing, but I know I wasn't able to upload any other clients. Like, I wasn't able to just play with the Lunar client, not even mention the Lunar client. I wasn't able to play with it or do anything, and that goes for every single client. Any kind of competitor to the Badlion client, you're kind of forced to use their own client, which I mean isn't too much of an issue right at the beginning, because obviously you're not really looking at using any other client. However, after a while, personally, I got pretty bored of using the Badlion client, which I'm going to get onto a little bit later in this video, but that was one of the first issues I found. And to be honest, while I was a Badlion client partner, that was the only issue I found with the client itself. So my next problem is something I didn't realize was a problem until I ended up leaving Badlion client and joined Lunar client. So as you guys know, each client has their own variation of a partner program where creators can add their own cosmetics and advertise them into the client store. We see it with Badlion client, we see it with Lunar, we see it with PvP Lounge very frequently. Now, when I was doing that with the Badlion client, I didn't realize that the deal I had wasn't exactly very good compared to other networks and other clients. Now, let me explain that a little bit more in detail. Calvin decided to tweet out the actual statistics of what creators are making from each sale if they don't use a referral code. As you guys know, each cape is around $12, and if a user decides to buy a Badlion cosmetic cape, however, decides not to include a referral link, from what I've been told, creators are making up to $2 at maximum for each sale of a cape. So that's $10 to ESL or Badlion. You don't even know where that money is essentially going. Now, obviously, keep in mind, this could have changed by now. However, this was the deal that I personally was quite familiar with. It's what I've seen on Twitter from a lot of other creators talking about as well. But only when I joined Lunar did I realize what I was missing out on for a very long time. Lunar has been a really great experience, and I'm really trying not to be biased, but I've had 0 issues with Lunar so far. And honestly, I know exactly what they're working on next, which is something I never really got at Badlion. and I think none of the community really know where Badlion are heading next, which kind of sucks. Another personal issue I found with Badlion is that all of their cosmetics are very realistic. Now, I initially didn't have any problem with that, but when Lunar started bringing out their pixelated cosmetics that are slightly different to, you know, regular cosmetics that you'd find in a store, I really loved the new designs. However, it seems like Badlion just tend to go for a very realistic cosmetic design, which I don't really think looks too good in Minecraft. Originally, I love it, and don't get me wrong, there is some capes which are great, some great Badlion capes, but for the most part, they just look very out of place in Minecraft. You know, you'd see them more in an FPS game perhaps, because they're all very high definition things. But however, for the Lunar capes, all of which just seem very natural and very, you know, easy on the eyes. Okay, so I'm now moving on to the problems with the Badlion client if you were just a regular player just using the Badlion client to play the game. Now, I have a pretty extensive list here, and how did Buddy make his way? Oh, that's how. Okay. Okay, and now we're moving on to the problems with the Badlion client as if you were just a regular player. As if your name is Jimmy, you've just logged onto Hypixel on a Thursday afternoon, and you've decided that you're going to be sweating some Skywars for the next 2 hours. These are the problems that you're going to encounter. Now, to start this list off properly, the first issue I found is that the Badlion client doesn't really go through regular visual updates. Now, hear me out when I say this. I know Badlion has had some updates in the past, you know, they have added some mods here and there, but for the most part, the client has initially looked the same for the last few years. Now, while that may be acceptable because almost every client has the same look, you know, there is very few clients that are really changing up their, you know, their visual look very often. Badlion is the largest client with easily the most sales and easily the most downloads and the most players online. However, we see the most inconsistent updates from the Badlion client. In fact, that might be slightly cruel to say, but we don't exactly see many changes happening very often, which is something I'm definitely quite confused about, because I'm very surprised Badlion aren't trying to really set themselves aside from every other client. While right now, I don't even think Badlion gives me the best FPS. I think I still get better FPS with both Lunar and also PvP Lounge, but don't quote me on that. Now, my next point isn't something I'm directly going to talk about on this YouTube channel, but unless you've been living under a rock or you're just not very involved in the community, there has been some... Did I just win this game without killing, like, anyone, by the way? What just happened? As I was saying, the Badlion ownership team has been subject to some serious controversy, and it's not something that has just randomly sparked now. Some of this controversy dates back several years, and I think that's also a large reason why a lot of YouTubers and a lot of PvPers from the competitive community decide not to use the Badlion client, and it's completely understandable. There's a video from, I believe, a YouTuber called Advisor, which I'm sure you guys can check out if you'd like to, which goes into a little bit more detail regarding what kind of controversy that is. It's not really something I'd like to discuss on this channel, but it also doesn't just stem from one owner. Both owners in the past have had or have been involved in some serious controversy, and I believe it has definitely negatively affected the branding itself for the Badlion client. You know, while I don't... What the hell did that guy just do? While I don't directly think Badlion as a client should suffer, I do believe that Badlion do need to bring in some new kind of ownership to really freshen up the client itself, and also just to have a change of face. You know, you've had the same Badlion owners for several years now, and I think it may be finally time for someone else to get involved and really change the direction of the client, because it's just not very healthy for a huge company like Badlion to be involved in controversies. So I do believe they need to bring in a brand new owner or some kind of influencer within the community who knows what direction they want to take for the client and, you know, can realistically provide that direction. Because right now, I feel like Badlion is in a kind of limbo state. Now, I know a lot of us are waiting for the brand new version to come out just to try, but it really hasn't changed too much in the last year, which kind of sucks. Now, my next point is something that I'm sure a lot of you guys were expecting me to talk about, and that's the fact that FPS on the Badlion client isn't really that good. It really isn't the best FPS you can get with a client, and if your computer supports it, I would highly recommend just testing out some alternatives, because I know there's a lot of you guys who use Badlion for FPS, but I just want to say there is a lot of serious alternatives to using the Badlion client. FPS works differently on every client. What I mean by that is the Badlion client may just be the client for you, and that's weird to say because I've been, you know, kind of talking about all of the issues with it. But if you currently get really good FPS on the Badlion client, this isn't me telling you to swap to a different client. By all means, continue using the client, but just remain aware that all of these problems that I've mentioned in this video, some of which are opinion, but some of which are actually pretty true. And have I just broken myself? Wait, what? Okay, there we go. I was going to say, I couldn't access this guy's loot because there was a block in the way. Now, moving on to one of my last points, this is a decision that I've hated for a very long time. I hate that Badlion made this decision, but as you guys know, Badlion is actually owned by a corporate company called ESL, who are a huge organization. Now, when they originally bought the whole of Badlion and all of the rights to the server, it was way back when Badlion was a network. There wasn't even a client. It was much more popular, and ESL were really trying to do big things with the network. Now, obviously, since then, the network itself has shut down, and it's just Badlion Client. Now, I really don't think this has been a good decision. I think ESL have actually made the Badlion Client slightly worse, just with the amount of branding within the client itself. All of the bad deals that I believe have been created were because of ESL, and that's purely because they have a very business-orientated mindset. And I know from being a Badlion admin that personally ESL have got in the way of a lot of serious plans to kind of take Badlion and maybe even Minecraft to a level that we'd never really seen. It was also to do with Microsoft as well, but I feel like I've kind of discussed that in a video way back in the past, talking about why Badlion server had to shut down, why it was never really able to become a big thing. And it's essentially because Microsoft didn't want any kind of like huge cash prize games in Minecraft, which is essentially why we never saw like huge Minecraft tournaments aside from third-party ones, which were set up like Minecraft Monday and Minecraft Ultimate, you know, things that Keemstar and the community did as well. This guy is actually putting up one hell of a fight, and honestly, I respect it. This guy is really trying to get me down here, and I think we're going to get him in a second. I just need to eat another gapple. This guy is called I Like Duckies, by the way, and he's got himself a very old school Optifine cape. In fact, I haven't seen an Optifine cape around in a long ass time. I remember simpler times when everyone would just roam around with Optifine capes of different colors. I can imagine that Optifine must have been making some crazy money back when there was really no other capes you could use, because obviously capes are a very big part of Minecraft. You know, they're the one thing that players can kind of add and disable that aren't directly their skin, but still has some like customization. But it's kind of crazy to think now that pretty much nobody uses Optifine capes. The capes that people normally have now are ones from clients or just like Minecon. How many heads does this guy want to eat? Like, I don't really understand it too well, but this guy has so much healing. Like, I don't even think I'm going to kill this guy, is how much healing he has. I genuinely don't know. He ate no, he did. He ate another head. He ate another golden head, which is just insane. Like, I don't know how this guy has so many golden heads. He's dead. He's dead. There we go. We got him. There we go. He just realized his helmet broke, and I think after that it was essentially over. Okay, so my voice is starting to die. I think it's about the right time to end today's video. I've been talking way too much. I really didn't want this video to come off as a big hate towards Badlion. Obviously, Badlion is still the most successful client today, and possibly some constructive criticism of where they could go in the future. I definitely think there is still some pretty big things to come from the Badlion client. However, I'm not going to lie, I'm a big fan of the Lunar client, and it's what you're going to see me predominantly using right now. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to leave a like. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.